Now, there is a difference between violence and force. And here, force is defined as a legitimate use of coercion to ensure compliance with the demands of a regime. And it is positive when it's against complaints. People who are mentally sick, like bullies, and other people who are seeking revenge. And it is negative when it is used against people who are seeking political recognition, or people who are in search of a livelihood. And a good example of this would be the hawkers in Nairobi. I was in Grogan another time, and I witnessed the police coming and swooping among hawkers and confiscating their goods. And one of the things that really amazed me was seeing a policeman with a room beating up a stand. You know these things that the people put their wares on? It's a piece of wood. And he hammered it for almost 2 minutes. And I wondered, what kind of anger is this that has consumed you to the extent where you come and fight with a chair like this? What if this was a person who would have done to you? And when I looked at that situation, I realized this will never end. You continue like these people are getting angry and angry. And the day they surround a policeman and fight him by himself, that's them. And the violence continues. There's also violence that comes from people private. This was interesting for me because it talks about social and economic deprivation and how people react to being socially or economically deprived or disadvantaged. Because people also have their own standards of living. That I know that because now I'm doing an object degree or I'm doing a master's degree, that I'm entitled to a certain standard of living. Now, when that certain standard of living does not happen, I am likely to react violently or non-violently to correct that particular situation because I feel relatively deprived from other people. I can either take it outwards or insight towards other people, inwards and do it against myself in terms of abusing our own and doing other things. Now, there are causes of violence in African societies, especially the first one is land. When people feel cheated of their land, that one really becomes a serious problem. There's political violence. There is, and this political violence is brought about by the fact that many times we have leaders who will not descend from power. You ascend to power, and you feel that there's no way for you to come back down. Very few leaders have actually resigned their positions or gracefully left office. The only one I know is the president of Tanzania, in Africa, who have left for time. But the others have clung to power in these values to do that. Violence affects many people. It affects most of them. We talked about that. There is a violence. Things like child abuse. For me, it was very difficult to deal with. Because you have situations where, even as the elite, again, for lack of a better word, engage children to work in our own home, to serve our children. Our children are going to school, and you have engaged another child who is the age of your children to work. And that child is also now abused by sometimes the man of the house, demands sex from the child, and also abused by those other children. And these are the things that for me were painful. Because when you look at the life of a street child, for instance, there's a lot of violence in that child's life. Violence from the police, violence from passers-by. You're vulnerable to anyone, and this manifests itself in a situation like this. So having come by that, then they came to a definition of peace. What is peace? An idea which is harmony with that individual. And there's also pax, which is some of the peace that we've experienced here and there, where it's just the absence of war. It's just that war is absent, but otherwise you cannot call that peace. And there's the ultimate peace, which is the inner peace that Jesus showed. But even in the midst of trial, that Jesus could stand in a place and be calm, even when people are planning to throw over a mountain and walk through them. That is the ultimate peace in the expression of peace. So there are solutions and mitigations to this, as suggested in this book. The first one was to rehabilitate Africans, so to become masters of our own destinies. The second one was for Africans to become more self-reliant. The third was the enforcement of land laws. And the reinvention of Africa. You know, Europe reinvented itself after the Cold War. Europe was a very scattered country, but after the Cold War, That died down in the 1990s. Europe was able to reinvent itself and come out as an economic bloc. And Africa also can learn from that and reinvent itself. But we stop being the way we portray now. There are solutions I did not agree with regard to violence, African violence. One of them was the prohibition of all offensive weapons. Weapons, all offensive weapons, to remove them from society. Number one, because when I look at it, and I look at Pokot and Turkana, that system has never worked. Because you're removing weapons from one place and leaving them in another place, and soon enough, those ones realize that these ones are not armed, and they come in and they are killing. So I did not agree with that. I did not have an alternative, possibly to arm everyone, but again, according to Professor Hansen, I think that so what is the Christian's role in addressing issues of violence? The first one is to rethink our current theology. And realize that God also spoke to Africa, that Africa also has a message. Africa's culture has a message about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we need to take that message seriously. Number two, recognize that Christianity is powerful, especially in the quest for peace. You cannot have peace without the Christian church involved. The third was for Christians to avoid being used by other people, because what happens is, even in an election setting, the church ends up divided. We choose camps. And this book also addresses some of the issues that are what called almost a collective psychosis in a country. You know, I never knew how maybe defective I was until I supported a candidate for whom I have no liking or respect because it's from my community. Knowing very well that this person, I do not agree with this person politically. I do not think he has conducted himself as a politician worthy of my trust. But because it's from my community, then I voted for him. And this is the challenge for a lot of us as Africans. That is something that even this book talks about is suppressed. It is in their unconscious that it triggers those reactions. And this is what I think we're talking about. When you're saying you look like a peaceful, but if you take very little, because there's a psychosis, there's something that tells us to say that Kenya is at peace. Kenya is not at peace. We are not at peace. We are not reconciled. We are not, and we can speak, and I keep talking to people from the Palestinian and Kikuyu communities, and me, and they tell me, oh yeah, now we are friends, and I know this is not true. It's not true. But there's a collective psychosis that can come into a community and create the illusion that things are safe and stable until it is triggered by what Sophia was saying, that the day this guy goes to jail, everything changes. The other thing that we need to do is, as a church, is show concern for refugees. That is another topic that was brought to here, which I felt that I have not taken into account. The fate of refugees in a country that is not developed. I mean, refugees go through a huge amount of chaos and confusion, especially when they're children. Where you're deprived of the things that are normal. Little things, burying people, Christian baptism, solemnizing the community. It was difficult. So what we need to do as a church, there are practical things, improving the lifestyles of people to ensure that the gap between the poor and the rich is reduced. Second is to offer refuge to abused and abandoned children. The church has not been put at a boarding place. Again, it's something that is correct. And then the third one, which was important, especially with regard to something like road accidents. You know, road accidents kill more people every year than any other single element. Because we talk about 3,500 people killed every year because of road accidents. Meaning that you have more than 100, 10 Westgates happening, not even 10, 50 Westgates happening every single day. Now, if Westgate affected us, because 7 people died, but let's remember that 2 or 3 months before that, 44 people died on the way to London. One bus accident. And by the next week, we had reported. We're waiting for the blood. There was no blood, there was nothing else. So there's Kenya's appeal for the dramatic, and we need to consider these other things that need to be done in terms of repenting for that innocent blood that is shed on our roads. So what is my conclusion for me? I need to get into a lot more self-reflection as an individual. There's a lot of suppressed things inside me that I need to know about them. There's very many assumptions that I have to question about how I think, how I react, how I interact with other people, and how I live out my Christianity in this African context. And how to encourage all of you to read the book and come up with your own conclusions, even if it's not for the class itself. I believe that this book for me can change a lot of things. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.